Oh, good evening. I am trying to find some. I won't find them yet. If I get up, it's going to kill me. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and any other evenings to you all. Yeah, just to let you all know, I've been suffering a bit today. I think the 6-hour drive, although I got out all right, had something to eat, come back in and all that. Having a kip last night, and then I woke up and it was nasty. It's weird because it feels like an electric shock. And by the way, when I say it's weird, if I start walking, after a little while, I can walk normally and it feels like there's nothing wrong unless you move in the wrong direction. But other than that, it feels like a trapped nerve, but on your hip. And it only touches if you move direction. It fucking hurts. Anyway, that's enough about me. I'm going to the osteopath again on Friday. So we'll see how it goes from there. I'll just tell him to muller me. So Friday night you'll see me going. Right. Anyway, don't forget sharing is caring, and there's a few things I want to talk about tonight, and I certainly don't want to go on about my aches and pains, but I've seen a number of things, and I'm going to show a couple of them tonight. With what, and again, anyone who knows me, I'm not interested. I was never interested in striking Iran. Iran are not a Mickey Mouse nation, and I don't mean that as the Western Alliance being bullies, even though they fucking are, right? What I mean, and I've been against virtually every war there is, really, because it's only us who fucking die in it, and it don't benefit us. So the point being, there's millions and millions of them, and they are prepared to die for their faith and their country and their supreme leader. I see something else earlier on today, and he said, do people not realise, he said, to Shia, the Shia religion in Islam, is the equivalent of killing a pope. And I get that. I'm like, but they've got all sorts of sophisticated weapons. But I have said, and I'm going to say it again, I said it weeks ago. In fact, I might have even said it a few years ago as well. There's one point I'm going to bring up that I did say at least 10, 15 years ago, right? Was the next world war will be over water, not oil, right? And when you consider that Saudi Arabia and all of those Gulf states are currently getting somewhere in the region of 70% of their water from desalination plants. Now, I know a little bit about them, only from yachting and speaking to people, and but they've got full-scale desalination plants. They do use it for drinking water. They also use it for growing and other bits and pieces, and most of the sanitary stuff that goes on out there. But Iran, to my understanding, has started to hit them. So everyone's talking about oil. It's a major issue. Listen, I'm not pretending, but I have read, and I have been interested in this for many years, right? but not deep, just the common sense stuff, right? And even the common sense stuff seems to be not no one's looking at it. When they hear around your petrol's going to go up, everyone's complaining that the prices of petrol's gone up, right? That's going to be the least of your problems, because the Straits of Hormuz is 30 miles wide, I think it is. If you think about the shallowest part of the English Channel, or the smallest part, not the shallowest, but the widest part, I think it's 23 miles, where it comes together like that, right? And imagine having on one side, obviously England, the other side France. Imagine France, for example, taking a major issue and deciding to block it, with all of its people, all of its might, sink a number of ships in that small area and completely block that channel, right? All the shipping would have to go all the way around, right? But in this case, you're talking about oil and food imports mainly, all going through the Straits. I can't imagine what went through the minds of people where they absolutely believe that Israel is that important in the world, that they would put World War III on literally right bang up you. But there's other things I want to say about that. So it's the desalination plants, in my view, are much more important than what's going to happen, actually, because you're going to have a massive, especially if they can't get boats in and they can't get pipelines of water in, right? You're going to have a massive humanitarian crisis in that area, including Saudi Arabia and the other Gulf states, right? Massive, not minor. The other thing is that the targeting, it seems like what they described as the 12-day war was almost a target practice. And a lot of the sites that the Iranians aimed at, they didn't hit, but they come close, and a lot of them was taken down, but many got through. They've got thousands of missiles that have been sitting there waiting for this. They just stockpiled them. And them stockpiles have not been hit. And then they've got the advanced ones, which they're now getting from China and Russia, right? But I want people to understand that this is a different situation, even to Ukraine, because China and technically Russia are now both in a proxy war with the United States of America, which with much higher stakes involved, and they are using their targeting abilities, meaning satellite, laser, and every other modern advance with their weaponry, to hit directly the targets. And from what I've been seeing just on Twitter, like I say, I'm no expert in this. I'm only trying to fathom out what's going on. And you're not getting this from mainstream media, I'm sure. They've been very successful. They've took out a major USA base, and in doing so, I think they've killed up to 650 US troops so far. And they've taken out the eyes of the missile defense system. There's a highly specialized radar. Let me have a bit of this because my throat is drying up. Right, so what you've got to imagine is they're sitting there blind. Now that's been taken out, they may have some minor backup systems, but nothing major. So a lot more of these missiles are going to get through. Some of these missiles are remember we spoke about it before, where Russia's got this missile that no one can defend against. It's the fastest thing. It's like being hit by a meteorite. It doesn't even need an explosive payload. I think it hits at 7,000 miles an hour when it hits the target. Trust me, if something hits you with any weight at 7,000 miles an hour, I mean, I see a guy get hit by a bolt. It's obvious. The bolt's not even going as fast as a bullet, right? It come off a scaffolding, hit him in the chest, right? When I see his chest the next day, he had a bruise like that. I was like, fuck that. If that had hit you on the head, you'd be dead. Hypersonic missiles. Yeah. And people don't realise, I've got a lot of this weaponry. So I'm going to go back to something else. I've said it on the show. I've said it quite some time ago. I said it on, I believe, Liam Tuff's, and I've got no idea when that's coming out, but I think he will put it out. I think he might not like very much what I was saying. But I think it's really strange that I personally believe that Israel could and may get completely wiped out. And if you go back to the early 1900s, the Zionist Committee, or whatever they was called, and I think they was actually called the Zionist Committee, they even considered and put forward Uganda as a place for Israel, right? And they come back and said, no. We definitely want to be in the Levant, right? And when they first went in there, people keep complaining about Muslims, right? When they first come in, they don't say anything, and they're all, we're Islamophobia, we've been picked on and all that. And then they go into their next phase, and then the last phase is when they kill us, right? Well, that's in effect the same plan that Israel implemented, because it didn't start out as it is now. So just to make sure everyone's aware of this, there was many places they could have gone, and there was the pogroms from Eastern Europe, right? So the Ashkenazi Jews, or however you pronounce it, right? Then they're not the Hasidic Jews, the real, if you want to call them the real Jews, or the Jews from the Levant, the ones that actually come from that area, right? And those Jews they do not believe in Zionism, do not believe that Jews should have a place called home, and they don't want it, right? So just to make sure you all understand this, I thought it was really strange that Alberta was screaming up, and I still think it's strange that Prince Charles is going out there in a few weeks' time to America, to the White House. For some reason, I don't know what the reasoning is, but there is something going on. Alberta's having a scream up, saying they want to be independent. The people promoting it are rebel media and a number of other, let's say, Israeli Jewish media is promoting it. It's being heavily funded, unlike England's independence movement, which is oppressed and suppressed for the reasons I explained on Liam Tuff's show. That the one thing that Israel does not want or cannot accept is the acts of union being made void, even though it's a disaster for the three nations involved, which is Wales, Scotland, and England, because that the British Parliament, so not England, Wales, the people of Wales, the people of Scotland, the people of England, but the British Parliament, it was political union, right? And the British flag is of the British Parliament. So anyone waving it is waving a parliamentary flag, in effect, not the country flag. You're saying that you support Parliament, you support the current ruling elites and everything that entails, right? which I think is madness. But then again, I know the history of it. But getting back to that, Alberta in is it British Columbia, Canada. They're aiming so Alberta is 3.5 times Great Britain in size and only got a population of 5 million. They've got their own oil reserves. It is landlocked. It'd be difficult to get to. But I'm sure that people will work out a way. But my point to you is this, that the person leading that, a lawyer, learnt law and studied law, even though he's a Canadian, in the London School of Economics in London, a Fabian University. So in effect, he's a Fabian, right? And I think it's strange that you've got the Alberta independence there and a clamp in, if you want to call it that, into the USA. The possibility that Israel's going to get completely and utterly wiped out, it is such a stupid thing to do for America to attack Iran. It is so senseless, and especially as President Trump said, I don't know if anyone's seen him getting booed today. I've never seen him ever get booed like that. Right, he really got booed. It's so senseless, so idiotic, so obvious they're going to lose. Right, I think it is, unless they've got some weapon that no one knows about, which President Trump keeps talking about. Right, unless they got this weapon and they're going to use it, they ain't going to win. If they use nuclear weapons, they've caused a major problem in the world, and also for Israel. So it don't make any sense to me. It don't make any sense whatsoever. What would make sense is if President Trump strategically looked like he was supporting a war with Iran, but really and truthfully, he wants Israel to be destroyed. Or he wants Israel, he's given them enough chances, he wants Israel out of that region. And you then can say, well, why don't you go into Alberta? By the way, I think Ukraine has already said, fuck off. Or I should say, the Russians have already said, fuck off. They ain't going here, meaning Ukraine, right? People have said this to me about 4, 5, 6 years ago, that they think they're going to put the Jews back into their main place. So we just have to work out what's going on there. But again, I mean, I don't know fully. I am just trying to work it. But things don't make sense to me. When things don't make sense, it normally means they're creating the confusion, and they're creating. They don't want you to understand what's going on. So therefore, you have to think out of the box. Does that all make sense to everyone? And let me tell you something, I could be completely wrong. If people in the chat said, DD, you're a fucking lunatic, I would accept, well, maybe I am. Maybe it's the occasional bit of medication I'm having here that's sending me thinking in the wrong direction. Let me have a look. Chuck money. That would be usual mode. Right, let me have a look. I'll tell you what, you've just heard what I said there. Tell me what you think of that. I mean, I've said about Alberta, I think it's really strange that they're strong in it and they're being supported by Jews, and I think Israel and rebel media, and Jews are pumping money into the organisation and are pumping it up and getting it in the media. Why is that? And bearing in mind, you could put Great Britain as an island into Alberta nearly 4 times, and it's only got a population of 5 million. He says Jews are going nowhere. Well, I don't know. I think there's something seriously going on. And don't forget, when you go back to reading the archives, the Zionist committee of the early 1900s was considering all sorts of places. And the Zionism, as we know it today, only really come about in the late 1800s. As we know it today, it only come about in the late 1800s. And by the way, in the late 1800s, they was talking about 6 million Jews will die, and there's going to be this, and then there was about 5 or 6, right the way up to 1936, even before the Second World War. I was saying 6 million Jews will die, right? And then all of a sudden there's a Holocaust, and in Germany there's only something like 500,000 Jews, and they're talking about a Holocaust. 6 million Jews have died. Really? Why have they been using that figure for nearly 60 years prior to that? Things don't make sense. That's all I'm saying. And you may not like what I'm saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't care if people think, that's off-keyed. If you was telling your grandparents, if you went back in time and said to your grandparents, and they didn't know that you're a time traveller, and you said to your great-granddad and your great-granny, 50 years after your death, you won't be able to talk about England in the media, in the press. You're hated for doing it. And they deny there's an English nationality. And it's the British and the British Parliament doing that. And that London is now only 36% white people. Most of the Londoners have left. Decamped. That we've got one of the highest rates of rape, and lots of English girls, hundreds of thousands of English girls who were raped all over England by Pakistani Muslim men, and the British regime, the police, the courts, social services, and even the local communities hushed it up, didn't want to talk about it. If you went back and told your ancestors that, what do you think they'd say to you? Because there were people back then that was predicting it, and everyone thought they was mad. I don't think they're mad now, do you? Do, you're a fucking lunatic. Oh, just kidding. Cappy. Yeah, I am a lunatic, I know. But at least the difference with me is I've got a completely open mind to what's actually going on. I just look at them things and think that is weird. Like, someone spoke to me about Ukraine and said, I think, and this is someone who is highly intelligent, I've got a lot of respect for, I call this person my spiritual advisor, because he is. I could sit down with him and my head was fucked. He would help me unfuck it, right? And to make sure you're clear on this, right, really clear on this, he was the one who said to me, I think Russia won't allow this to happen, and they was going to shut down Israel and put the Jews back into their little landlocked, remember that word, box in Ukraine or in that area. And I went to him, what? Fuck off. And he went, all right. He said, have a look at this. And then he showed me all of the evidence of Jews all around the world heading to Poland, and then the same Jews going into Ukraine and buying property and setting up in Ukraine. And bearing in mind, the Ukrainian, whatever you want to call him, Prime Minister, President, whatever he thinks he is, the little short-ass dictator who's a gay faggot, right? is Jewish. And most of the oligarchs that are there controlling Ukraine are Jewish. Right? Yet again. So when you think about that, and then you think about Russia saying, fuck right off, that ain't happening, right? You're not coming on our border again. We don't want them people anywhere near Russia, bearing in mind what happened in 1917 and the Soviet Union. And no, I'm not kidding. That's exactly what it was, right? The Bolshevik Revolution was in effect a Jewish revolution. They allowed them to become too strong, and it was supported by the British and the Americans, right? All I'm doing is telling you the little glimpses of history that points it all in one direction. And then when you look and you think, so now they've got control, because via the pogroms, they was coming into England, coming into Dover, coming into London, coming into Kent, coming into, flooding us, right? It was English Jews, nice Jews, right? Good Jews. Yes, they do exist, right? Went out to Romania and Eastern Europe and to their synagogues and said, stop sending Jews to England. It's causing a problem culturally. Stop sending. This is all in Hansard, right? So it's not me making it up. I'm telling you, if you want me to bring it up and tell you the story, I'll tell you the story of it. And it's a fascinating story, right? So then they did still coming across the channel. They come from Dover, they went up to Liverpool, right? Which is why there's this big Jewish community in Liverpool. But from Liverpool, they left there. This is in the early 1900s, and they kept crossing over the Atlantic all the time, continuously into America. And now in America, you've got AIPAC, right? And there's only one representative out there who is not controlled out of the hundreds that they've got by AIPAC, and that is Thomas Massey. So do I still sound mad? So everyone should understand what's going on. Now, when you sit there and you think about it, you think, is this really what's going on? Because I think it's absolute madness to just go and attack Iran. It's almost like there has to be a plan to get Israel out of the Levant, because they're not just going to up and leave. And by the way, it appears, because I've read another article about it, that the CIA and Mossad are and do put their command control centres within densely populated areas. So they're using civilians as a human shield, right? So these people must have got it from somewhere. Let me have a quick look. Hi, DD, everyone out there. Let me have a look. And the British will go. Yeah, we just got to get us to rights. Now, there's a number of things. I want to show you some video clips. And I was going to read one out to you. Let's have a look at this. Nathan, that's right. British. I can't read that one out yet. There's another one that has been sent out. People seem to like that Dino Bane as well. There's quite a few people sending me his video. I like the fact that people like him and that my supporters like him, because he makes me fucking laugh. And then we put a bricklayer on there, which I'm not going to play it, but is, I can't remember how many he's got. Hang on a minute. My bag. He's kidding me. Oh, fuck me back. Right, 2 seconds and I'll be back. Oh. Which ones are they? I'm going to have 2 of them. We've got codeine in them. Oh, fucking thing. Oh. It's getting painful. Stay there. Oh. Oh, fuck. I had to hunt the tablets. Let me go back to where you are. You'll see me again. Fuck. Hey up! I'm back again. At least someone ain't banging on my door tonight. Let's have one of these. DMSO works on my hips. Yeah, I know. I've got this DMSO here. I'm going to try and sort that out. It's weird. It don't feel like it is painful though. And if I just started sitting and moving again, and then I can feel it, and it feels like there is something caught. But anyway, never mind. Who else is in there? It's called Thomas Skinner. Yeah, no, thanks for that. I see that a few people have sent that to me. Holy England, change my picture. Middle of 6 minutes. Good evening. Holy England, Chuck Money, Light Owl, Music Fan 7, Driving DD. I've got to be honest with you, I don't think I didn't stop because I knew if I'd been getting in and out of the car, I think it would have been worse. Once I was in a comfortable position and it weren't paining me, just to keep driving. And basically that is what I did. So it was 6 hours in this type of position. But once you get in a position and you can't move out of it, then by the time I got to the other end, whilst I went for a little walk and all that, tanked up the car again. I think I've suffered for it today, if I'm honest. Hopefully it'll be all right tomorrow. Must be working problem. USA have just got banned. Have they just banned it? Must be working, Graham. USA have just banned DMSO. Well, there you go. Yeah, by the way, I've done 6 hours without stopping, not even to go to the little boys' room. Just kept driving. Let me have a look. It's a bit funny here, isn't it? What did I want to show you? Yeah, tonight's show's going to be a bit of a... what I'm going to try and do is show you these bits. What's that? Yeah, that's a mosque in... There's a mosque in Cumbria. That's where we just went up to. Not sure. It might be what... Oh, is it tonight? No, I think we shall... You might have to contact him and see when it is. Check for me, Tracy. I don't think I'm on 412s tonight. But I wouldn't be able to do it tonight. My back is fucked. Now let me go and have a look at this. Let me have a look at this. Well, I'm going to try and see if I can bring up this one. So the first one I'll bring up is this one, and then I'll probably have to come back to the others on there. Let's see if I can bring this up. I have no doubt that some of you haven't got Twitter accounts, and some of you have. But what I want to do, this comes from a guy called Brian Allen. I don't know how many followers he's got. Not that it matters. 276,000 followers. Holy hell. Iran just took out a $1.1 billion radar at the most fortified US base in the Middle East with a single missile. And then he's got, this is bad. And I thought this was bollocks until I checked into it, and they have. And they've taken out the eyes of in effect, of Israel and the US military in the Middle East. That radar was the backbone of all US missile defence in the Gulf. Every Patriot, every TAD now operating blind. Qatar, whatever you want to call it, intercepted 101 missiles during this conflict. 2 got through. 1 hit the only target that mattered. This is asymmetric warfare. In one sentence, Iran has to succeed once. We have to be perfect every time. And we weren't. The US just promised Navy escorts will protect Gulf shipping lanes. That's another thing I wanted to briefly cover. Lloyd's of London are pretty much... The insurance industry globally is linked to Lloyd's of London. It now looks like that is upping and moving to America, right? But in order for that to be successful, America's got to be able to protect the shipping. As we've just seen, if they can't protect their own 1.1 billion radar base that's on land, heavily protected, heavily fortified, with all sorts of technical equipment, if they can't even protect that, what likelihood are they going to be able to protect the ships? And again, on that area is there. So I'm just going to carry on reading this. The US just promised Navy escorts will protect Gulf shipping lanes. But if we couldn't protect 1.1 billion radar inside our own base, what are those escorts actually guaranteeing? The petrodollar runs through a strait we can no longer credibly protect. One missile just changed everything, right? So what I'm going to do is bring this up and see if you can hear it.
Has struck Al-Udeid Air Base, as I said, the biggest American base in the region. We don't know much more. No casualties reported as of yet. Again, we don't know what we don't know, but we do know they are saying it was a ballistic missile. It's obviously a significant development. And as that is coming in, we are learning that the CIA is also working to trigger some sort of an uprising inside of Iran. Now, this is a major and potentially explosive development in the war. So let me tell you what we know here with these breaking details. Multiple people familiar with the plan are telling CNN that the Trump administration is working to arm Kurdish forces, who they then expect to take part in has struck Al-Udeid Air Base, as I said, the biggest American base in the region. We don't know much more. No casualties reported as of yet. Again, we don't know what we don't know, but we do know they are saying it was a ballistic missile.
So, again, what I'm going to do is stop sharing that one, go back to my other. There's another video I wanted to take you, which is this one. And hopefully, this is from another account. I actually follow him, I think. Well, yeah, follow him. 262. So breaking, Trump is lying to you. All of our bases have been destroyed, says former US Army Colonel Douglas Macgregor. I don't see that Douglas Macgregor has got any reason to lie or to insinuate or to just make it up. The mainstream media, the defence contractors and the establishment are lying to you about what is actually happening in the Middle East right now. While the hijacked pro-war neocons try to sell the American first base on a glorious, easy war with Iran, former US Army Colonel Douglas Macgregor just went on the record and completely shattered the illusion it is a disaster and Iran is doing way better than we thought. Here is the terrifying reality of what is happening on the ground while the politicians lie to your face, and this is similar to what's happened with Ukraine, right? We aren't just fighting Iran, Macgregor confirms that Russia and China are sitting on the sidelines feeding top-tier satellite intelligence directly to the Iranian government. They are tracking our every move. Because of this intelligence pipeline, Macgregor states Iran is experiencing tremendous successes against Israeli and US positions. His exact chilling words, all of our bases have been destroyed, our harbour installations are destroyed, our regional footprint is collapsing so fast that the US Navy is being forced to fall back on Indian ports just to survive. This is the catastrophic. Here. We are entering into a long, protracted and unwinnable Middle Eastern war that Charlie Kirk warned us about and spent his final months of his life trying to stop. He publicly begged the Trump administration to back off from a larger strike on Iran. And now the military-industrial complex are cheerleading a slaughter while our service members are sitting ducks. They silenced the loudest anti-war voice in the country, and now the exact disaster he warned us about is unfolding. And RT, it's time to wake up and smell the roses, even if they smell like a shithouse.
The tremendous successes. China and Russia are sitting on the sidelines monitoring everything. They're in close touch with the government. They're providing satellite intelligence, which accounts for some of the tremendous successes, particularly in Israel and our U.S. bases. All of our bases have been destroyed. Our harbor installations are destroyed. We're actually having to fall back on India and Indian ports, which are less than ideal. That's what the Navy says. And I think Iran much to our disappointment, is faring very, very well. China and Russia.
Stop sharing. Now, I can go through many more of them. The only reason I'm covering it is because it's getting more people on Twitter. There's more on Twitter if you know how to find it that is the truth. I've also got Russia Today up on my screen. Let me have a look. If we go into world news on Russia Today, they're literally showing the murder of Iranian school children cannot be whitewashed. US submarine sank an Iranian warship. That's live, and it got all that information on there. Not that we do want to go and watch a lot of death and destruction. Israel extends Lebanon incursion to strike Hezbollah. So they're back in Lebanon. And there's lots of information going on. And as far as I can see, you got Tommy Robinson in America cheering it all on. Really? Beggars belief. Because they lie, do they? Yeah, no, they do lie. Who's that? Janet Tiley, 1839. Merlin, 1250. Hello, Merlin. How you doing, son? Thanks for coming to our seminar. We got a write-up in Hope Not Hate as well, which I thought was hilarious. He said Graham, otherwise known as Daddy Dragon, is going around the country doing English seminars. That should get us some people looking for the seminars, because it's been advertised by Hope Not Hate as being very good. Let me have a look. They'll probably think that our seminars are better than the politics, which is one of the reasons why we do the seminars. Nice bit of advertising. Yeah, it was. Zuliman will not always on anti-Trump spread much crap in the past. Ain't come true, but I do think there's some. So again, it's, people said you still trust Trump, and I'm like, I don't trust any of them. It's the truth. But I trust the American people because they did get off their backsides and voted for him. And I trust that he has some form of strategy that's going on. I don't know exactly what it is, but all I know, I can't see him betraying the American people. So there must be something else in it that we ain't seeing yet. And that's why you have to start having extreme peripheral vision and be open-minded to what he is doing. Unlike what's going on in this country, because 60% of the population have stopped voting. Not being horrible, well, fuck it, I am. The people who don't vote are the people that help that situation in Iran happen, right? Because if you had a strong leadership in this country, with common sense leaders and prime minister who could be advising the king properly, potentially it wouldn't have happened. So I just want to make sure that is known. No, you should never trust. It's really difficult, right? I mean, I know my own mind. I know how much I'm about England and the people of England, men and women, our families, our Christian heritage. I'm about us, not about all these external influences. I'm not interested in that. But there you go. Who am I? Don't forget sharing is caring. Hit the like button, which is really crucially important. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And sharing is caring. So the more you share, the more you care. And merry old England. It doesn't make sense that he would go to all of that effort with the Board of Peace, etc., and then unleash hell in the Middle East. Doesn't make any sense. We need to let the smoke settle. Merry old England. you're exactly right. Because I was thinking today, why did he do that? Why did he do it then? And by the way, when he created that on February the 13th, I think it was, do you remember I said there's some date correlations with the 5th of November, the Prince of Orange, Orange Man Bad, Protestant religion, 4th of July, the election was on. One of the other dates that struck, again, what somebody who watches the show said to me, he said, you do know that the 13th of September was the first day of the Convention Parliament for the Glorious Revolution, right? So I was like, fuck, right? That's the date I forgot to tell people at the seminar, right? And then you're trying to think what it is that's going on in the background. And none of us, I believe, are naive. We all sort of get our crooked. I mean, it's massively crooked. We're run by criminals. The whole country is run by criminals. And unfortunately, the judges are part of that. That's why I said in last night's programme or show that we need to get our own people elected and then impeach at least 1,000 judges. And that means they lose their jobs, right? We're the people who can sack them. They lose their pensions, they lose everything, they're gone, right? And has this type of thing happened before? Yeah, it did. King Alfred. I mean, he went a bit further. I think he exiled about 200 judges. I'd have to go back through the history of it to get the figures right. But he killed or hanged 44 judges that had caused the deaths of subjects of England. And he basically said, your judgment killed them. Either the judges hanged people or something happened to them people because of their judgment, which was obviously crooked, and he hanged them 44 judges. All right, so it's not as if it's never happened in our history, and I am sure that there is something going on in the background that we are not aware of. So just to make sure everything's there, let's have a quick look. Don't forget, it has to be over before November midterms. Well, the way I heard him being booed today was absolutely, I was like, wow, I've never seen that happen with him. So he must know, unless something is happening where something else goes on. I don't know what it is. Let me see if I can go and get my main, because I've got this up on the screen. I want as many people as possible to send this to Rupert Lowe, if you can. What I'm going to do is send this. Let me put this out there first. There's the link, right? Retweet it and send it to Rupert Lowe. And what I'm going to do is show you it on the screen, right? So remember yesterday, I think it was, I actually showed you there was a Restore Scotland, a Restore Wales. No one's put a Restore England out there. I'm like, not again. That was the fatal mistake of Advance, because all they kept talking about was Northern Ireland. I haven't got a problem with Northern Ireland, right? They're more English than the English. They understand the English Bill of Rights than the Protestants. I am certainly not saying that we're not standing with them. But what I'm saying is there's 57 million English, and the English are the people not being represented here. And although he has, on numerous occasions, said that he is English, and I've checked his corporate records, and he says he's English, meaning Rupert Lowe. So someone's got to do something. But there you go. It's on your screen as we speak. Let me see if I can. I don't think I can bring that up any higher. Can you all see that? What do you think of that? Restore England, Restore Britain, and then there's the English flag. And what I'm saying is restore the English Constitution. We'd solve the majority of our problems if we did that in a big way. And by the way, the bad guys know that, which is why they are trying to oppress and suppress the English. Graham, this is all a distraction. like changing the money supply. I don't disagree with that comment either. I wouldn't say that what's going on now is the sole reason, but they are definitely trying to do something. Let me put that back on there. Pour that water into that one. See if I can freshen up this water type. And drink some more of it. I'll dust in it. I've got to set my alarm to get up tomorrow. Fuck. Mute went. Restore England is a must for us all. No, I know. And we got to get it out of Cockney. And I've been watching on catch up for the past few weeks. I ain't made the chat. Cockney girl, West Ham United. How you doing out there? Do you know that Thomas Skinner geezer from East London? I know East London's a big place, and you probably don't know him, but you might know someone who knows him because he supports West Ham. DD, I had a severe back pain a few years back, so I bought a small tin of the UC2 type 2 collagen powder. Repairs cartilage. It took 5 days later, the pain had gone. Oh, I might have a look at that one. Someone needs to send me that one. I can't copy that off the screen. Let's see if I can copy that off the screen. And I've got to get that stuff that Doctor, look it up. It's going to go straight to it. Continue. There. I don't know what that's doing. It's all gone pear-shaped. I'll have a look at that in a minute. What is it called? Pure. Let me see if I can copy that. Copy clean link. Copy clean link. Take that off again. And then Dr. Glidden said I have to get that stuff, and I've got to take that for 5 days, which I will be. A cold can of Guinness is good for bad backs. Very old yeah, I know. I don't know about the Guinness at the minute. I think I need to just do more exercise and try and get me back sorted out. It ain't helping the situation at the moment. But anyone, at least we're getting out there. More people are talking about England. Still waiting for Liam Tufts though. Don't know what's going on there. I think he will put it out. I think he's got a queuing system, and there was quite a few interviews before they put them up. So he might have a week or 2 weeks of interviews with people, and then start putting them up like that. Got a little office and all that. So, music fan. Ask Tracy to send you my email. Let me have a look. Cockney girl, even though I'm just watching on catch up, let's see if anyone else is out there. Well, anyway, I am going to go now. He's getting on my fucking nerves. Who's getting on your fucking nerves? A nice Murphy Stout. I want to see what you had to say in the interview. It was a good interview. He said, you're definitely coming back. I've really enjoyed this. He said, it's not. He said, you're one of the only people who have sat here. I've asked a question. We didn't have to cut anything out. We haven't got to edit. We could just put this straight up. No editing. And he liked that because I was obviously just giving him like my opinions on things. The funniest one was when he said to me, you know, what do you think about Israel? I said, fuck Israel. I said, I'm English. What about England? And he was like, in fact, I think he went, I thought I was going to say, yeah, Israel. Fuck Israel. What they ever done to us? Nothing. It was funny, though. Tufts is one of the Tommy crowd. Yeah, I know. But, you know, if things start going pear-shaped, he might change his mind. You never know. I don't know how and who and what is doing it. We'll have to wait and see. Let me have a quick look. Right, I'm going to sod off again now. There was a lot more I was going to do, but I'm going to see if I can sort my back out. So I ain't going. Liam Tuss put something up a couple of Sundays back that was 2 weeks old, so you may be onto something there, Graham. Yeah, I don't think he's being negative. Dino Bain, I think, is hilarious. People sending me little clips through them, and he just fucking tells it. Where is he? Is he in Thailand? Not in America, in Thailand. Because there's 2 different guys, but he just sits there and says it. I quite like it. Go on, just say it. And he does. Thanks, DD. Good night. God bless everyone. Yeah, I will see you tomorrow night. What else am I going to do there? That's it. Don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution. And if you want any ivermectin, graham.moore@protonmail.com. Subject line ivermectin is £6 a strip. There's 10 in a strip. Minimum 15 strips. Put your name and address and how many strips you want, and I'll send them out to you. I ain't done none today, but I'll hope to get round to it tomorrow. Andy the Gabby Cabby, sleep tight. I hope everything's all right. Yeah. Subject name ivermectin, full name and address with quantity required. That's it. It's all coming out there now. Right. That's it. Tiddly poo.